D&D 2024 is an incredible system and anyone can learn it. It's just a matter of knowing where to start. Whether you are new to the game or are just looking to strengthen your knowledge of the system, you are in the right place. By the end of today's video, you will know what the different roles at the table are, what the flow of play looks like, and how D&D games are typically organized. Hello everyone, my name is Ethan and I have been playing in and running D&D games for about the last 6 years. During this time, I have taught many people how to play D&D and have realized that it is extremely easy to get lost and feel completely overwhelmed in the massive system when you are first starting out. To help combat this, I am making this series where I go over the core rules of D&D so anyone, regardless of experience with tabletop role-playing games, can feel confident in their ability to play D&D. Dungeons & Dragons 2024 is a collaborative role-playing game centered around storytelling and epic combat against monsters of legend. It is a game that is optimized around 5 to 6 total people playing together, but can be played with as few as 2 people, although I do not recommend that for first-timers. It can be as complicated or as simple as you want it to be, with some tables preferring little to no technology or physical tokens, and some groups going all out with screens, lights, music, and minifigures. At the end of the day, so long as everyone at the table is having fun, you are playing the game correctly. So how do you get started? Well, the very first thing you have to do is answer the following question. Do I want to be a player, or do I want to be the Dungeon Master? Both roles work together to create the story, but they are vastly different roles with completely different responsibilities. Let's start with what the players in the group should bring ready to go on game day. Players should bring their fully made character, which almost always includes some type of written backstory. Players should also come with at least a basic understanding of how their character works and what they are able to do during gameplay. Players should also bring dice and some type of writing utensil for tracking their resources. What the DM is expected to bring to the table is a little harder to set firm rules or guidelines for because there are many different DMing styles that are all valid. As a general rule, however, any DM should bring at least a general idea of the environment and or the NPCs the players will be in and interacting with, as well as any monsters they will face and the main quest or quests the players are to undertake. I say general idea because some DMs will have far more detail in their prep work than others, with some going so far as to improvise most, if not all, of their game. Regardless of style, the DM should also bring a strong understanding of the rules of the game and be familiar with the characters at the table, although there is a little bit of leeway with both of those. During gameplay, the players are responsible for controlling their characters and their actions and owning up to any consequences that come from them. They aren't expected to be master actors, but they should put some level of effort into their character to make them feel like a living person who reacts to the world and changes it through their actions and their adventures. Players also need to make sure that they accurately track their resources like health and consumables. During gameplay, the DM describes the scenes, giving players that information that they use to decide their actions. The DM is responsible for resolving the actions of NPCs and monsters and roleplays as them during any social interactions. They also are responsible for making any rulings and deciding if something is or is not possible given the situation and the rules. Inherently, the DM will always know far more than the rest of the players, so it is important that they give information as freely as is possible and call for any specific roles to get more information if that makes sense. There aren't any specific post-game responsibilities, but I think it is a good idea that the table, either the same day the game is played or at the most a few days later, come together and talk about both the highs and the lows of the session. That way everyone at the table continues to improve and the game continues to grow in a positive direction. Another way to ensure that the game progresses positively is for both players and dungeon masters to follow some extremely important golden rules. These are not official rules per se, but I think their inclusion as such can only benefit you and your group. Let's talk about the golden rules for players first. Players should always make characters who have some reason and willingness to travel with the rest of the party. They should also make a collective effort as a group to actively engage with both the story and the environment the DM prepares and presents. Extremely random pivots to unrelated areas will almost always cause a lot of stress for the dungeon master, who will then need to quickly change everything on the fly. On the flip side, character motivations can change, and storylines can become boring or undesirable to the group. If you find that your character you are playing no longer has a reason to be with the party, it is totally acceptable to retire them and create an entirely new character. Dungeon Masters, on the other hand, above all else, with zero exceptions, need to respect player agency. This does not mean you have to let them do whatever they want. Respecting player agency is simply not undermining their actions and giving true consequences for their choices, good and bad. When your players seek to make any type of difference in your story or world, as dungeon masters, we should honor that and reward it, especially if the change is something you didn't have in mind. That means that they are really engaged. Believe me, you will always walk away from a session happier, knowing that the entire group truly collaborated. Now, sometimes there is something that just really needs to happen, or just truly would not be possible to change. And sometimes player actions can go too far and simply become disruptive or detractive from the game. The solution is, once again, you guessed it, an open and honest conversation. We're all adults here, and if you're a kid, well, time to act like one. If you need your players to trust you, simply tell them that. If they are doing things you think will change the game for the worse, tell them that, and ask them if they are prepared for the consequences. 9 times out of 10, they didn't even think that far ahead, and being directly told that what they are about to do is a really bad decision is almost always going to change their mind. Now that we have an idea of what players and what the Dungeon Master do, it's time to look at how exactly these roles interact. What does gameplay actually look like? Play is passed back and forth between the Dungeon Master and the players, or just between the players, depending on the scene. The general flow of play is as follows. Step 1. The Dungeon Master describes the scene. Step 2. The players describe what they want to do. Step 3. The Dungeon Master narrates the results, or asks the players to roll to determine the results. However, in many situations, the players will start to ask additional questions during Step 2 and try to get more info before fully deciding what it is they would like to do. This can go back and forth a few times depending on how complicated the situation is, but for the most part, that's pretty much it. Outside of combat, there's no set turns. Everyone just works together to share the spotlight, to collaborate together, to all have fun. Okay, to wrap up today's video, let's learn what sessions, adventures, and campaigns are, since we will be using these terms a lot. Every time the group sits down to play, it is called a session. For most groups, this can be between 3 to 4 hours. Adventures are the miniature stories the group are telling. These can start and end in a single session, which is called a one-shot, or take multiple sessions to complete. They can also vary greatly in complexity and difficulty. A campaign, on the other hand, is a series of adventures. These adventures don't have to be connected, but they can be connected and oftentimes do flow together, telling one large story. There are pros and cons to both approaches. Find what works for you and your group and just have fun with it. There's no right or wrong way to play D&D. And with that, that's it. Thank you everyone so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel and check out the Discord. The link is down in the description below. I hope to see you guys in the next video, and until then, may your dice roll high and your games never face scheduling issues.